Hey Cancer, this is your monthly reading for October 2023. So this is a tarot reading for Cancer sun or rising signs. Okay, so this is a collective reading. We are going to be taking a look at the beginning, middle, and end of the month for you. Also, any kind of prominent challenge that is coming through. Forgot to put my do not disturb on. Let's make sure I do that so we don't get disturbed. Let's see. Exactly what I didn't want. Okay. Do not disturb. There we go. All right. Sorry about that, you guys. So we'll be taking a look at the challenge that's prominent for the month and also any kind of spiritual advice. So of the readings that I put out monthly, these are the more extended ones. We go about on average 15-ish minutes around that kind of marker point. And then for the bi-weeklies, those are typically about 5-ish minutes long on average. So just feeling like those are the shuffles. That's the way it wants to go. I thought that this deck would be festive and appropriate for where we are in the season. So I hope that you like it and enjoy it. All right. Okay. So I think my camera's just slightly off there. There we go. And let's take a look at also any kind of challenge that is coming through. At least the most prominent one that will be felt. Feeling that card there. Interesting. All right, Cancer. And any kind of spiritual advice. So, as always, feeling that one there. All right, so as always, as I've said before, if you want a very specific reading and you want to know exactly what's going on for you, the best way to do that is through one-to-one readings, right? So if you want to do that, there's information down below for you. You can schedule with me if you want to do that. Otherwise, this is a collective reading. So if you feel like this really resonates with you this month, awesome. If it doesn't, it's just not your message this month. I also watch other people for collective readings, and I just know that it's not going to hit every single month because it's a collective reading. So if this is your sun sign, maybe go try watching your rising sign. Otherwise, I would suggest a one-to-one reading, whether that's with me or anyone else. So all right, how are we going to focus this reading for the month of October for you? Through what lens? And for that, we look at the houses in astrology. And so what we have showing up here is the 11th house. I have a feeling that I vaguely remember either this showed up in the last bi-weekly readings that I just put out on for the 29th of September, which takes us until, I believe, the 14th. For those mini readings, I believe... If not, it was like one of the readings before, either last month or something like that. But I'm pretty sure this came up for Cancers before recently. And so with the 11th house, we're looking at your, yes, community, but it's your like social groups, your allies, your collaborators, your friend groups, like these kinds of social connections. And that can be IRL or online, so whichever way that is. But we're looking at the community networks that you're connected and tapped in with, right? So that's how we're looking at this. And we have the Page of Pentacles, the Tower card, and the Two of Wands showing up in your reading. So don't be afraid, we'll get into this. And then the Pentacles, Five of Pentacles for your challenge, and the Four of Swords showing up. So I think that's super appropriate for what we're seeing here. Let's get into it one by one so we can really break it down for you. So starting out with the beginning third of the month, we have the Page of Pentacles. You know, the thing about the pages is that they tend to be very like curiosity based, right? There is a level of almost innocent like exploration and curiosity about their particular element, about their particular world. You know, whether you are in a place of study or you are in a place of like learning or exploring in some kind of way your physical world. I usually relate this to like study, education, you know, those types of things. But, you know, this is definitely a place where there's a level of curiosity and the desire to understand and explore the world around you through this kind of innocent, childlike wonder. That's what's coming through for this. I don't always get that for Page of Pentacles, but I do get that for this. For some of you, this is going to represent an opportunity that is like right at your fingertips, right? Something that is just like the solution is right around the corner and it's actually coming to you, right? So there's maybe that is happening through opportunities that open up in your community, in your friend groups, you know, any kind of alliances, collaborators, you know, social networks, that type of thing. So for some of you, that's going to fit in that way. For others of you who are studying, I feel like that'll make sense what I was talking about before. So is that like kind of exploration and that curiosity? But for others of you, this is really about an opportunity that's making itself known for you within the community. So, and I definitely, like, I don't remember which reading, but I'm pretty sure one of the most recent readings for Cancers had this particular card show up as well. We move into the middle third of the month, and we have the Tower card, right? So I think, and then we end with the Two of Wands, right? So like, I think that there's some things that need to go back to the drawing board in terms of the way that you are relating to your community, connecting with your community, looking for opportunities inside your community, whatever that's for, whether that's because you're tapped in for career, life purpose, path, how you monetize like your world, whatever it is. There's something, or it could also have to do with the dismantling of certain kinds of friend groups and social group connections that you've had previously. Something about that is not sustainable and it's not working long term. And so there is this need to release and go back to the drawing board. If certain things want to fall away, let them, you know, within reason. I'm not saying just like, if like a rift is coming up between you and a particular friend group or friends, that you just let it fall away and don't try to actually have a conversation and deal with it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just more so saying like there is a point at which you realize like, I think maybe I need to let this go for a period of time, you know, this particular group or this particular collaboration or whatever it is, right? And when we have the Tower show up, it's in this grasping and holding and wanting things to stay a certain way or the same, and this illusion of control that we believe we have in our world, that it creates more disruption for ourselves. It creates more pain. It is harder for us to move through this when we're not in a space of moving with what's actually happening, right? Just notice that when the Tower card shows up, there's just a certain way of like the structure that you had built in your particular like friend groups or whatever it is, that it wasn't sustainable. It wasn't actually going to be stable and hold going forward. And so there was this need for there to be a back to the drawing board kind of moment, level it down to the ground, back down to the foundation, so that you can make sure that the foundation that you're building on is really stable and secure. You know, so you want to make sure that your connections, your collaborators, your friend groups, your friendships, that they are, let's say that they're a strong, stable network of people that you're working with, that they're solid, right? And so there is that element coming up in the middle of the month. Now, I'm not going to talk about the astrology because I talk about it in the astrological highlights video, so you can start to get a sense of that there. But we are moving into eclipse season pretty soon here, right? Like we move into October and it's like, oh, we can see it on the horizon. And so there might be some things, as we know in eclipse season, there are like great beginnings and great endings, and sometimes it just like ushers new things in, but it also ushers things out. And if we're not totally ready to allow that process, that ebb and flow to happen, it can feel maybe more stressful or even painful than we would want it to feel. And I say that on the outside of it. However, you know, I've definitely been in the middle of that and gone kicking and screaming myself. So, you know, just like to the best of your ability, when the cards show you these things, it's so that you can be prepared, not so that you just kind of throw your hands up and go, oh, well, I guess it's going to be painful and it sucks. It's more like, okay, well, how can I go into the middle of this month of October and as consciously as possible, being more aware of what could be changing and shifting and what I need to be present to, so that you can really work with the energy as opposed to being just like surprised by it and taken off guard, right? And having the rug pulled out from under you in that way. So then we come to the end of the month, the last third of the month, and we have the Two of Wands, right? And so like, there's so much more possibility available to you than what you had maybe been perceiving before. Like, the world is at your fingertips. You're on the precipice of something completely new. All you have to do is choose which path you want to go down, and that's it, right? There's just so much more of the world than you can actually see, that's laid before your feet. The world is large, and so the possibilities are endless, opportunities are endless. And when things have been cleared out, and you are now looking at things from a very real place, you can then have a widened perspective. When you're not tethered to certain places or people or things in this way, you can then have more creative and exciting opportunities that can show up. And so here we are in the last third of the month, and it's like, I think you're becoming conscious or becoming present to the fact that there are more possibilities. And if not, it's being pointed out to you that there are, so that you can really consider which direction do you want to go. Start to evaluate, like, okay, the world is my oyster. Well, where do I want to go? What do I want to do? What do I want to actually create? Like, where am I feeling drawn to? What adventure do I want to go on? Remember, this is Wands, right? So we see that showing up. The challenge that comes up through the month is this place of feeling like lack, feeling in a space of lack, feeling like, maybe even feeling like the victim perhaps in a situation. Maybe you rightfully are, but feeling that way, right? And definitely worth examining whether you are or aren't, and definitely worth working with that to shift it, right? But you could feel on the outs, like cold-shouldered, on the outside looking in, or feel that way. At least you might be perceiving things in this way where you feel like it's all on me, I'm all alone, I have to do it by myself, I don't have any support, I don't have any community, I don't have like this, I don't have that. And really, this card shows up to say, like, hey, that's actually not completely so. You may not have all of the resources that you want at your fingertips, but you have resources. You may not have like everything that it is that you want in terms of like community or friendships, but you have some people who care about you in your life. You are not alone in this. You are not isolated. You are not out on the like outskirts. And if you do feel like you're being cold-shouldered in some kind of way, then this is about having those conscious like conversations with people and like saying, hey, I'm not really sure what I'm detecting here. I kind of feel, like I've been feeling this way. Is there any truth to what I'm feeling? Is there something we need to talk about? Do we need to clear anything? Sometimes it just takes those like meaningful conversations to completely shift the energy. So this is really about shifting your perspective and seeing like, what can you proactively do? What resources do you actually have? Notice the people that you do have in your life. Notice the support you do have. Notice that you're not in lack, and it's not all on you. It's not all on your shoulders. You're not alone, and so that is going to be a part of some of the challenge that comes through, I would imagine, more so connected to that Tower card piece. Maybe even though in the end of the month when you're really considering, what path you want to go on. The spiritual advice that's coming through is the Four of Swords. So this is really about coming back to a place of sitting with yourself in some silence, being taking some time for some healthy solitude, right? Have solace, be in that kind of inner space and rest. Allow spaciousness to happen where you're not always doing, going, right? Sometimes the answers need spaciousness to be able to come through. We can't sometimes receive the kind of intuitive hits or the creative ideas about how we can move through different situations or create new pathways in life if we never quiet ourselves. And so this card says, hey, you need to slow down, go inward, quiet yourself. You need to create conscious time for you to actually have that, even if it's like 30 minutes every other day or something like that, right? And then you journal about it after, whatever it is, taking that time for some inward reflection, some integration about the lessons that you've learned, especially after this middle part of the month, and seeing like maybe what comes forward, what kind of creative things actually start to appear. you know, so that's what's coming up. Also, this is about taking care of your health. This is one of those cards where I say like, you know, pay attention, you know, make sure you're drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, nourishing yourself, things of that nature, you know. So that's just, I think it's helpful in any case, but certainly that's coming up with this card as well. So I hope that this feels helpful. Definitely check out the astrological highlights video so that you can kind of take this all and put it into another context and see like how those pieces start to make sense when you kind of start to pair them up with astrology as well. And if this felt helpful and insightful in any way, please give the video a like. It does help me as I'm building this channel. It helps me with the algorithm gods a lot. It really does. And also, yeah, definitely like share it with anyone who you think might enjoy this. And while you're at it, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos I have on the horizon and some new stuff planned for the coming months. So I will see you in the next video. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your time. Bye.